everyone, my name is Monique. Welcome to Monique's Home, and today we're going to talk about your children's space. So I got this idea for this video from a friend because she was asking me how she could set up a space for her child that will be more conducive to her really engaging with her own activities, being more independent instead of wanting to watch more TV or wanting to use the screen or iPad or phone because there's nothing else for her to do, or there's nothing to put her attention towards. And I think this video is something that you can do at home as a parent, you can do in your classroom as an early childhood educator, because really the principles are pretty much the same. So it's going to be a little bit general for today, and if you're wanting specific help, you can always reach out to me at Monique's Home, and we can see what we can do with your space. So when you've identified a space or spaces in your house for your child, you want to think about the areas that you're going to divide that space into. So what I try to do both in my classroom and also here at home is I try to have as many of these areas as possible. So one is your reading or your literacy area. So just a small bookshelf, just a place where you can put a couple of their books out, or even have a word wall where you can post letters or words or pictures that are familiar to your child. So this area is really to get them enticed with letters, get them interested in letters and words and in books and in reading and all that sort of activity. The other area that I really like having is an art area and or a writing area. So it doesn't have to be separate. It can be all in one, and it could be just a small table with a rack of coloring materials, scratch paper, and just a space really for them to creatively express themselves with creative things like paint, crayons, chalk, and I also say slash a writing area because you want to give them the opportunity to be able to express themselves in writing. And even if you're not actively teaching them how to write, they will as they get interested in print around them. So print from your reading area when they see letters from the books, posters, or word cards that you put on the wall. They will eventually want to copy it, and they will do their invented spelling when they try to write the letters on their own. And you would want them to have that opportunity to do that by having an art and writing area. The next area that I think is also they're all really important. I like having all of them really because they have different purposes. It's a pretend play area. In most cases, in a lot of classrooms, in a lot of early childhood areas, it would be a kitchen. Why? Because it's something that they can see at home. So it's not because we want them to, all be cooking or all be cleaning, but because, especially in the early childhood setting, it's something that connects to the house because it's something that they can see at home, especially if the mom and dad are cooking, then it's something that they're aware of. So the pretend play area or the kitchen in the early childhood space or preschool becomes something that has a connection with them, and these are the things that they observe at the home. So these are the activities that they'll probably be more familiar with. But you can have a cash register, so it can be maybe a pretend play grocery, and that's also something that they're probably familiar with. So this area would have costumes, would have props, pretend play food, plates and cups, and a small broom. So anything really that they can use to recreate life scenarios, situations that they see in their life. Another area that I like having too, even if it's not really, when I say area, it doesn't have to be like a big space, like a music area. And in our house, it's literally just a basket of instruments. And I have this little piano that my brother-in-law gave Matina 8 years ago, and we still have it. So that's their music area. So just a space where in materials where they can express themselves musically. And the reason why we're having all these different type of areas is because we want our children to be able to explore as many as possible, and for you to be given that chance to observe really what my children are interested in, what do they like doing, what can they be possibly be into and what piques their interest. And the last area that would be great to have in your child's space is a physical area, so for both gross and fine motor skills. And I've just included the manipulatives here, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But basically, an area where your child can move and have materials that will exercise both their big muscles, so their arms, their legs, and their smaller muscles, their fingers, their toes, and their hands. And really, it could be a variety of things. It could be a ball that you just pass around. It could be a hula hoop. It doesn't have to be inside. It could be outside. And you can have little things like puzzles for their fingers. You know, their finger muscles are also exercised when they do art, when they do their writing. But, you know, having an area also for their puzzles or, you know, things that they string together or tiny blocks that they build that, you know, not only works on their fingers, not only works on their physical skills, but also their cognitive skills. So because they're solving problems when they build blocks, they're you know, understanding how space works when they are putting together a puzzle. So there are many things that this area also touches on. All these areas, as much as possible, I try to incorporate them. They don't have to be big areas with a lot of materials, but, you know, just representations of this so that your children could, you know, have the opportunity to explore different things, explore different areas. So thank you again for joining me. Please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to Monique's Home. I will see you on Instagram at Monique's Home. I will see you next time. Remember to make every day your own version of extraordinary.